Rugby Wrap-Up brought to you in part by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Rugby Odds, starring former WWE champion John Bradshaw Layfield, God's gift to rugby, Gift Egbelu of the Gift Time Rugby Network, and featured guest. Ladies and gentlemen, normally on the show, I'll do a brief recap of what we've seen, so that we can go ahead and talk about what's ahead. And that is with my colleagues who are in the green room, John Bradshaw Layfield, the WWE legend, and Gift Egbelu, rugby's gift to mankind, aka the King. While they just hang out in the green room doing absolutely nothing productive, I'll do the work. But this time, since we only have the two matches, and you've probably seen a lot of the highlights, we're going to just have the highlights play over us. And I want to show some footage first of what transpired in New England on the pitch after the final whistle, because I was there. Check this out. Kalolo, you just played in the Eastern Conference Championship. You were a beast in that second half. What's going through your mind?
Just before we came out, the boys, we talked about just nailing our own roles, and if we can do that, we can help the team out more than we would know. So it's just about nailing our own jobs and getting the details right. And yeah, just lucky enough to just nailing my own roles. So yeah.
Well, you know, your role is not normally ball carrier, but you were taking that ball and destroying tacklers.
Just lucky they slid off, so...
slid off.
Credit to the boys, and just so grateful and blessed all the sacrifices the boys have made this season. This is why we play it, and this is why we do sacrifices for this game that we love, so yeah.
And simultaneously, you've been selected by your country to go represent your country as well.
Yeah. So now, just grateful. Like I said, just grateful for the opportunities, and we'll try and get the shield first before we think off down to my country. So yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Enjoy, my brother.
Cheers, Matty.
Right. I wear your T-shirt. I get heckled for wearing your T-shirt. I know that this is not a fun time right now because you lost. But what a match. Great for rugby, American rugby, and you, sir, are an American rugby story. What's going through your head?
Yeah, tough one, you know. A lot of emotions going through, but it was a hell of a season by the guys. Like, a lot to build on and everything. Hats off to New York. They really played well, so congratulations to them. Hope they go well in the final.
When you were growing up as a kid, did you ever envision the fact that you would actually be a caricature in rugby, a starter in a professional league, and have a T-shirt and a fan base that knows who you are as Eagle?
Yeah, never. No, never. If you told me when I started playing this is where it'd take me, like, I'd laugh in your face, you know, and think you're crazy. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
So what's next?
I'll come back and try to do it all again.
All right, pretty cool stuff, but we'll take a quick break and bring in John Bradshaw Layfield and Gift Egbelu, the King, after this.
Looking for your next vehicle? With Sheehy's Easy Search, choose from over 3,000 new and used vehicles. Shop, trade, or buy online or in store. We make it easy with our award-winning service.
It's easy at Sheehy, Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street. And we're back with John Bradshaw Layfield, the WWE legend, a.k.a. Johnny Spoons in rugby circles and rugby's gift to mankind, Gift Egbelu, or just King these days. He's down in Brazil. Gift, again, you're the wooden spoon winner in this postseason after having an exceptional run during the season, the regular season. And by the way, guys, at this moment, we can announce that management has reconsidered the kerfuffle surrounding your picks.
As it should have been.
And Gift, you have been awarded a win and one loss taken away from you. But John, management would not do the same for you.
See, so I call shenanigans. All right, shenanigans.
Formal complaint.
Shenanigans. I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
And by the way, we have as much management as we have teleprompters, okay? We don't have anything on this show. It's like just us and a bunch of computers and phones. That's all it is.
And we don't have our guest this week because Nate Osborne, he of Old
we got
Glory.
our didgeridoo in case he came.
Yeah, and he left us. He left us at the altar after talking a big game. So let's talk about last week because there was only the two matches, the Western Final and the Eastern Final. And in the Western Final, Seattle smoked Houston. And Gift, this was another one of your petty, nonsensical picks. You talked about petty and blah blah blah, but you got to pick with your head. And Houston got destroyed by a 6-foot puffin.
For one, we had a Houston team that was just not acting the way that they were supposed to be. All right, they didn't act up. They didn't step up to the plate like they normally do. But look, I said it actually at the beginning. Seattle was going to enter into this with a movie-style playoff. Now, don't get me wrong. I believed nothing once LA was out because I thought that changed the dynamics and it was already going to make it nice and weird. But I did say this was going to be a movie-style entrance into the playoffs for Seattle. And apparently they took that a little bit more literally than I expected it to be. And so as a result, hey, we see what we got in there. Seattle went West Side Gangster. And I say gangster because
West Side Gangster.
Yeah, I emphasize the E's and auras on this one, not to confuse it with anything else. But West Side Gangster drive-by murking San Diego and Houston. And it speaks a lot to just how far the West was between Austin and LA and literally everybody else. Just everybody else. The fact that Seattle had to luck into the playoffs and then start doing work just speaks volumes.
Have you considered running for office? Because you can talk and absolutely say absolutely nothing that anybody can fully understand. But you're after you're done, it's like, oh, there had to be something in there that I just missed.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just know that I spoke words of wisdom to speak to Seattle's run and getting into the playoffs for the 50th time in the history of MLR.
John, you got anything you want to add to that? I mean, he pretty much nailed it.
Seattle suffocates people. They play like a really good Saracens team. Saracens always played, it's like the old Midwest football, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And all of a sudden the Florida teams came along and started running the ball. It's like South Hemisphere rugby. Houston scores in clumps. They make great breakaways. They did that, but it's hard to beat a team like Seattle because they simply do not make mistakes. They simply suffocate teams, and that's exactly what they did. And I thought they played a great game of rugby, just like they played against the Giltinis for the end of the season to get into the playoffs after the Giltinis and the Austin team got caught allegedly cheating. And by the way, it was great rugby, and the production crew could possibly be worse than a high school football game. That was the worst production I've ever seen in television history.
We had that other match, the Eastern Conference Final, where we had New York go up to the Flapjackals in Quincy, and that's a tough place to play. And what happened? New York comes back from being down 10-0 and wins it. Unbelievable match, unbelievable setting. I'm almost sad to see that final won't be played in that stadium. It's so cool. The atmosphere, they nailed it. But New York put on a very good show against a very good team, Gift.
I'll give New York a lot of credit for coming back in that second half. It really was a lot of ground and pound. But there was something that I kept noticing whenever I was watching the game. And really what stood out was, one, New England's defense, until it broke for those 2 tries in almost back-to-back series. That defense was a wall, and that actually concerns me with New York a little bit moving forward. Just how powerful they actually can be over time, because it just did not feel like there was a lot of movement. And on top of that, it was I don't know. It lacked a burst that you'd feel that comes from a championship team. That being said, hey, it was a good game. It was a nice close game. Low scoring, like you didn't expect it to be. And and what can you say? Like
you hate to credit New York with anything.
Look, I give New York the credit for finishing the job.
You can't.
You're completing what you're supposed to, but
you can't get it out.
Look. I put it there. New York, you did it, but man, this was kind of an underwhelming win. Even despite
underwhelming win.
It's an underwhelming win. The score does not speak to what the game was.
The game was electric.
It was not electric.
I was there. It was electric.
It was not electric. I was watching it. I go off the TV product, not the in-person. You have all the live music that was going on. That's distracting to it. Just watching the game itself, I thought New York looked slow. And I thought that was a little bit concerning to me because if Seattle, as quick as they are, as smothering as they are, like you can't be slow in that game, especially a championship game. So
how's that internet speed down in Brazil?
I thought New York played well, but I've said all along, I agree with Kip on the fact that New York plays just enough to win. And they've done that their whole season. They played to their competition, which has been great when they play against a great team. And it's been bad when they play against a bad team. But I thought New York did enough to win. But I also thought that New York dominated most of the game. I think the championship's going to come down to Heighton versus Altimu because New York just doesn't make many mistakes. Seattle doesn't make many mistakes. And I thought New York played a phenomenal game. They shut down a very, very aggressive Free Jackal team. Those guys, man, they push the field vertically in spurts, and they run great angles, and New York was able to shut them down. I thought it was a terrific rugby game.
So, John, to your point, you actually made some sense, and you brought up AJ Alatimu, who had an unbelievable game for Seattle, and everybody said that was the weak position for them this year, the number 10 position. And in the last 5-6 weeks of action, he has just gotten better and more comfortable. He is a field general for that team. He's running everything, and he doesn't miss a kick.
From every angle.
And also ball in hand, he's like a wrecking ball. And I
don't know who the kid was that kicked from the Free Jackals, but that kid kicked one from the other parking lot. Yeah. What a leg on that kid.
Curved in just like
wow. And it would have been good for 10 more meters.
Well, there's
some great talent in Major League Rugby. It's great. It's great to see. That's why I wish the TV production was better. But it's some great talent to see.
But speaking of kicks, Sam Windsor off the bench made those 2 conversions on those tries from those impossible angles under unbelievable pressure, getting booed and jeered by the entire New England crowd. And he nailed both those kicks. The second one put them 8 points on top.
That's right. That was huge. And it was a strong win.
Unbelievable.
That was the kick of the year. No doubt about it.
So Jack Heighton's got a leg issue where he is not kicking. He's starting. He's playing at fly half, but he can't kick for points. So Jason Emery has been handling the kicking. Last week he was 5 for 5. He was perfect. This week he missed the first one, the penalty goal, but then he nailed the rest of his kicks, and then Windsor off the bench. I mean, they've got 3 guys that are very good kicking, and that could be the decision or the decision maker for this match. And we're going to come right back and talk about the match. We'll be right back.
Rugby Now, delivering premier brands to players and coaches. Our quality and heritage make for a winning presentation. Your orders are guaranteed same-day shipping. Drop by our online store and follow us for exclusive content. RugbyNow.com.
I've been blind since I was 4. And I've never seen a beer commercial or a beer label. None of that stuff influences me. I drink beer because of the taste. And my beer is Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has the taste and the flavor.
So what do you think's on the label?
I think there's a naked woman riding on a unicorn, jumping over fire. Oh, that's good beer.
And we are back. guys, we're basically out of time, but we've got to cover this last match. It's New York at home, Red Bull Arena, -4. John.
I thought the game last week was going to be the game of the year, and I think it was. New York and goes up in the Free Jackals. They play a phenomenal game of rugby. It highlighted how good Major League Rugby is. Some terrific kicking, some incredibly physical play. I think this game could outdo it. I think this game's going to be amazing. Seattle does not make mistakes. They suffocate people. It's the old 3 yards in a cloud of dust, the old Midwest Nebraska football where they just simply beat you up. And then you have New York, who's almost a carbon copy on the other side. This is going to be an incredible physical game. It's going to come down to kicking, I believe, and field position and maybe a little luck. I'm going to go with New York at home. They're going to win the game, and they're going to cover the 4 points.
King.
It's no secret that I'm not a hugest fan of either one of them, but I have to give them credit of
Hold on. Gift, just 1 second. Full disclosure. Because of the record adjustment, you and I are tied right now.
Yep.
We are tied. And that means you need to be very careful with your pick here.
Look, these are both really two hard-nosed teams. And what I really give a lot of credit to is in their defense. Like I said, New York is probably some of the least impressive offense in terms of dynamic that I've seen or amongst that I've seen in the playoff teams. But their defense is a straight solid wall. It's a wall. They get where they need to fast. Seattle, much the same. I give them a little bit more credit on offense, but it also could be because, again, the West is questionable. But in this one, I'm going to probably lean on the home team in this. I think Seattle's run again. I know it's 2 times straight, but we're entering over into the East
What about
Coast.
Petty?
Now,
can't you say something about Petty and then
there's nothing petty on this one
Seattle.
because neither of these teams have really any real history with each other. They don't have any real history. There's not a cross-country rivalry. Seattle is not equivalent to New York in any way. This is your best comparative match you could ask for because it's purely going to be what's on the field. There's nothing around it. There's no weather.
John looks thoroughly confused right now.
There's no weather advantage. There's no player advantage. There's no emotional advantage. This is a neutral ground championship match.
On that note, we're basically out of time, but I'm going to pick New York.
Pick New York. Go ahead.
I'm picking New York, but I think Seattle might cover the spread. I think they might cover the spread, but I'm picking New York to cover the spread and minus the 4 points.
So basically, what you said about Seattle means nothing.
I think the travel matters. The travel matters. On that note, I want to thank WWE legend John Bradshaw, Layfield, the Johnny Spoons and Rugby Circles, and Gift Egbelu, Rugby's Gift to Mankind, and the King. And thank you for tuning in. And please check out our other shows, including Major League Rugby.
Rucky, it's all love.
And please check out our other shows.
No, it's not, Rucky. We hate you.
And please check out our other shows, including MLR Weekly and the College Rugby Wrap Up. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Please sign up for our newsletter. And please, please, please join our American Red Cross Blood Donor team.
Are we done?